got Michael B. Jordan, the director and the star of Creed 3. And you know, we know each other. We go way back all the way to Chad Science in Newark, okay?
Oh, the Corny Kid, right?
No, I did not say that. Misquoted for sure. No, you did not hear me say I said we used to make fun of the name. But yeah, he is obviously killing things out here. But you're not corny anymore.
Are you about ready to dream a new dream?
I am.
Yeah.
I am.
I think that's so interesting because you say God's already exceeded any expectation that you had.
Yes.
And when you are starting out, you're just happy to get a role,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't understand, I guess, the process of acting and kind of, you know, the audition process.
Yeah.
Or, you know, when you first start out, you kind of are at the mercy of what you're casted for.
Yeah.
Yeah, 20 years. I was 12 when I started. Dang, that's crazy. And when people bring that up, it makes me think like I was like a child actor, but it didn't really seem like it at the time. I was just kind of doing it just to do it.
We're talking to Michael B. Jordan, who's going to be part of an ensemble of the upcoming movie Red Tails. Sure.
The summer maybe before I booked Red Tails was probably one of the crossroads for me of like, all right, this is the last rent check I got. I done overdrafted everything I could overdraft and borrow money from every aunt I could think of.
Yeah.
This doesn't work out this month. I'm heading back to Jersey, and you know we gonna figure it out. We gonna, you know, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but we gonna figure it out. And then auditioned for it, booked it. That found out that Thanksgiving that I had got the role, and that was like the first time that I had enough money that I could actually stack. I was like, okay, cool. I could pay off everything I need to pay off. This gives me
put something up.
Put a little bit something up. I can stay out here for another 6 months. You know what I'm saying, et cetera, et cetera. And then literally the jobs just I kept booking from there. It was just kind of like that kind of opened up the floodgates for me.
For me, it was always like stepping stone to stepping stone. I never got too much too fast. It's like I'm just now getting to the point where I really feel like, you know, people even know exactly who I am or my name. It's weird.
Was bestowed with the most prestigious honor available to humankind. He is People Magazine's Sexiest Man Alive for 2020. Whether President Trump accepts his victory or not, please say hello to Michael B. Jordan.
Who is your cinematic crush?
This is, I mean, I'm just awkward because he's sitting right here.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like, Mr. Robbie here.
Ellen. Michael. Ellen. Michael, so come here.
I'm leaving. I'm going.
Right. Can you take me with you?
God, it really does. Yeah.
And you have an amazing night tonight.
You too.
Yeah, go eat some
Keep
good
doing
food.
your thing, girl.
I will.
Oh, yeah. Michael B. Jordan, I think we're not going to be able to top Michael.
Yeah, shout out to Donatella Versace for custom making this outfit for me, and shout out to Michael B. Jordan because he's going to be taking it off of me tonight.
What went through my head when I found out? It was a cool feeling. It was something that, you know, obviously other people have made so many comments and jokes about. Whenever you announce who the guy is, everybody has their comments and they have, you know, things they want to say about it. And they always made that joke at me, like, Mike, it's the one thing you're probably not gonna get. And it was just like, I was like, yeah, whatever, kind of brush it off. So it was a good feeling. It was cool. It's cool. It's a good club to be a part of.
I'm sorry about pushing Ray. I just want to play.
Listen, they know that you changed your birth certificate. I can't let you play.
Well, my mom said it was okay. She said that she would tell them they asked that I was born later. She said it was okay. I just want to play.
There's nothing I can do, Jamal. Look, why don't you just sit...
Playing Jamal in Hardball, you know, that was my first like major movie. I had to travel to you know, and I lived in a different place. I was in Chicago. And yeah, that was just the beginning for me, you know, that kind of another one of those projects that kind of kicked me off and put me in the right direction.
Man, look at the boy playing checkers.
Checkers?
Yeah, checkers.
Yo, why y'all playing checkers on the chess set?
I played Wallace on The Wire. I was maybe 15 at the time, coming off of this movie, Hardball. I had auditioned for Alexa Fogel in New York, and I originally auditioned for Bodhi.
And they brought me in for like 2 or 3 callbacks. And they basically said, oh, look, you're too young to play this role, this character, but they brought me back in to play, to audition for Wallace. And I ended up reading for Wallace that day. And I ended up booking the role. So that's how I got cast. And at the time, that was the longest I've ever worked on a show with, you know, with the same people. So it became a family, you know. The rest of the cast were family and the crew. 15 years old, you like, oh man, like what do I do now? What's next? And I was really sad at that time.
Watch this. What are you doing? Watch. Go.
Yeah, Steve Montgomery and Chronicle. You know, Josh Trank wrote and directed that. And it was an amazing experience. We shot that in South Africa. It was in Cape Town, which was my first time going to Africa, which was really cool. You know, it was a kind of a origin superhero film, but grounded, you know, in a weird way.
Did anybody see? Oh, Steve Montgomery for Brett!
It was dope, man. It was super creative, you know, and I felt like that was one of the looks and feels to the movie that made it so unique and made it stand out a bit. It was because we took that approach. You know, the risk that Josh took cinematography-wise, just how he photographed it and the camera moves that he chose to make.
Okay, buddy. What you gonna do? How is this guy's Bob? What are you doing? Whoa! Did you win?
They couldn't catch me.
Played Oscar Grant in Fruitvale Station. It was the first time that, you know, I got offered to play a leading role. I was still unsure a little bit or figuring out like what kind of like career I was gonna have, what type of actor am I gonna be? Is it a character actor? I'm only in ensemble movies, but now I wanna see if I can actually carry a film. So that was the first one. It also opened up a lot of doors for me. And I was just coming off of Chronicle at the time. And then Cool reached out, got the script to me. And I just knew that was kind of meant to be, because the way I was feeling as a person, you know, that was like my way to you know, say what I had to say.
In the towel, and Adonis Creed defends his title, defends his name.
Played Adonis Creed in Creed. You know, me and Ryan, we were getting ready to start rehearsals for Fruitvale Station. We didn't even shoot a frame yet. And he pitched me the idea for Apollo Creed's son, you know, a spinoff. No hesitation, I was like, yeah, cool, let's do it. Like, let's go. Like, it was that simple. I didn't think about it much at all. First one was like an origin story for Adonis, you know. The second one was a continuation of that. You know, he had a lot of, you know, daddy issues, you know what I'm saying? He had a lot of issues he was working through, trying to figure out, you know, kind of who he was and what that meant in the shadow of his father, Apollo. And as he kind of started to have his own family, I thought it was important, you know, in the third movie, in the third installment, to like really singularly focus on Adonis and his family, you know, let the franchise stand on his 2 feet, you know. You know, at the time, that was probably the closest character that was to myself, whether it be, you know, the success, the all the things that come with success, you know, that childhood trauma that might be lingering, things of that nature, things he needed to work through, needed to talk through, needed to face himself. So I felt like I was the only person that could kind of tell that story.
I lived my entire life waiting for this moment. I trained, I lied, I killed, just to get here. I killed in America, Afghanistan, Iraq. I took life from my own brothers and sisters right here on this continent. And all this death, just so I could kill you.
Black Panther, I played Eric Killmonger in Jadaka. You know, it was me and Coog's third film. Always been a fan of Black Panther in the comic book, so I'm a comic book nerd. So, you know, it was one of the few characters that was black, you know. Since that movie came out, there's change that can't be quantified, you know, because of that movie, you know. And I feel extremely privileged to be a part of it.
Is this your game? Huh? Is this your game?
Love you, brother. I play Smoke. Be careful. And I also play Stack. I will. Twin brothers. As a whole, you know, I work more than Coog in the sense of just like, you know, throughout the year, I could do 2 movies, 3 movies a year. Coog does 1 movie every 2 years. When he calls you and picks up the phone, you like, hey, you got something for you? You just like, all right, let's go. This is what we're doing. Pitched the project to me. It didn't take much convincing. You know, it was a challenge. You know, it was nothing easy about making that movie. I'm all about challenges and seeing what my limits is at and like, you know, and pushing the boundaries. So it was a win-win across the board.
Why you can't just walk your big ass up in here without an invite, huh?
understanding my own mortality, and understanding, that, life isn't a forever thing. And I think that happens when you get older too. You know what I'm saying? Like, just turned 37. And it's like, wow, I vividly remember, 15. I vividly remember 21. I vividly remember 25, 30, and I used to look at 35, 37 like ancient, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, oh man, we're here. And it's like, you got to do what you got to do while you're here and make an impact. You got to fulfill yourself, whatever that may be, and whatever your fear of that is, of that outcome, is never really as big as what you make it up to be. It's really not that small. It's not promised to anyone, but time will move on. You will move past it. And if tomorrow never comes, at least you can know that you said what you needed to say.